Com.
Come fly with me, let's fly away.
Not sure if I can sing coming off of a 3-day cold, but here we are. Ursula Reutin joining us this morning from the G and Ursula show.
Good morning.
Needs no introduction.
Oh.
Heather
Good
Bosch
morning.
is here too. Chris Sullivan is here. The whole gang is here to talk about the do's and don'ts of flying. It's a big weekend for flying.
It is. And we had so much fun yesterday talking about airline etiquette and what you can and cannot do on an airplane. And
Or
a flight
should and
attendant
should not
had
do.
come up with, exactly, a flight attendant came up with a list. And I wanted to run a couple of these by you guys and see where you stand on this. So this is, again, from a flight attendant. She came up with her 12 rules for air travel. And I'm going to go through a couple. One is everyone has the right to recline, but there's a polite way to do it. So what is your take on reclining? Do you recline?
I do.
Do you ask if you can before you do, or you just go? Go
No,
for it.
but I don't do it like jerky. I don't go like bam and slam it back. Like I do it gently to let them know this is happening, accept it, and then
Okay.
it stays that way.
Sully?
Well, since I always fly first class.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
not-
You're like me. We're in the back.
Yeah, we're if I'm not in the last seat, which can't recline because you're next to the bathroom, I do slowly, maybe a little. It kind of depends if everybody's doing it, I kind of do it. But I've reclined less these days than I used to.
Well, I think also the chairs don't let you recline very much. The last plane I was on, I swear it was like 1.5 inches, and that was it.
Well, there's a reason. So they say, don't slam your chair back without warning. And this flight attendant says, before reclining, look behind you and see what the situation is, and then nicely ask if that person minds. Now, the
I'm not
question
gonna
is,
ask.
oh, really?
No, I'm not going to ask because it's part of the seat.
I paid
right?
for my cruddy seat and coach.
And what
I'm going to
happens
get the most out of it.
What happens if the person says no?
Yeah, the only time I do it actually is if the person in front of me is reclined and I've got my nose to the
Yes.
back of the seat. Yeah, I'm going back.
Yeah, it's a domino effect.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, the overhead bins are not your personal Tetris game. So what is do you generally find overhead space right above your seat, or do you just go for the first space available?
I thought it was a rule that what's above your seat is yours.
Yeah, except that a lot of times by the time you get to your seat, it's full.
Right, which is not supposed to happen. And in that case, I'll
Yeah.
find whatever I need.
Yeah, so she says the bins are first come, first serve in economy class. You don't own the spot directly above your seat, and it's not acceptable to take out someone else's bag to make yours fit.
Sure.
Okay.
touch other
Okay,
people's
but here's the big one. Keep your socks on.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. What do you do though if your seatmate does take off their socks and suddenly their feet are up against the seat,
Take a picture and shame them on the internet.
I prefer the direct approach. Put your darn
You would do
shoes.
that?
Would you actually tell
Yeah,
some-
stranger?
Have you ever had to do?
Yes.
Oh
if
my
they were
gosh.
sitting right next to
Yeah.
me, dude, put your shoes back on. Put your socks on.
Bold.
Sully,
oh yeah.
have you ever had to?
No.
Okay, what if someone is?
I mean, Holly usually keeps her socks on.
Okay. What about if your seatmate is chewing tobacco and then spitting into a bottle and then putting it in? This just happened to a friend of mine, and she posted about it, and then putting the spit in the pocket in front. Do you I know.
I'd be fine with that because
Is
I
that when
grew
you do
up
the
with
call
guys. I grew up with guys who we chewed in class and we'd stick it in. Yeah, we do. Yeah, but again, that's super gross. I get it, but I'm used to that.
If he stayed in his own little area with it, yeah.
But you're so
maybe.
close
Smell it?
together. I mean, it's gross. I mean, I guess if
I
you are
wouldn't do
someone who
it.
chews, would you please
Yeah.
wait on that one? So the flight attendant says no one wants to smell your feet.
Yeah.
Don't put them anywhere but below your seat. And she says, I highly recommend putting your footwear back on to use the bathroom.
Yeah. Who's walking to the bathroom with socks or bare feet? Oh.
Okay, how about this? We just got a few seconds
we've got
left.
time.
How about deal? Okay, you don't have to switch seats if someone asks you. Have you ever been in a situation where someone has said, I got my kids here,
Oh, if they want to sit by their kids,
Yes.
I'm usually, unless it's a really bad trade, I'm usually sympathetic to
Usually,
that.
Yeah, me too.
it's the flight attendants who come up and say, "Well, someone's going to be sitting next to a 2-year-old, unless one of you moves." It's like,
Right.
okay.
Exactly. So what are your
I was going to
biggest
ask you
pet
the same
peeves, though?
thing. You're our guest. I
Yeah.
want you to, what's your number? Because we're going to be flying to New York here pretty soon.
We are. We're going to be flying together.
For the Gracie Awards,
Yeah.
because these two women both won Gracies. Can't say that enough.
Thank you. My biggest pet peeve is if someone hasn't bathed in a while,
so they have a big odor.
and they are very,
Pungent.
and because I am very sensitive, my smell is very sensitive, and I also have a very easy gag reflex.
Oh, no.
I have to ask you.
I don't know what you do
I
about
have to
that.
ask you
other than-
ladies this.
Yeah.
I had a guy sitting next to me, and he was falling asleep, and he kept leaning on me. And he kept apologizing, "Oh, I'm just really tired." But he wasn't leaning on the dude on the other
Oh,
side
that-
of him.
that was
He kept like falling on me. And I felt bad because after a while, I was just jabbing him with my elbow. Like, dude, I'm sorry you're sleep deprived, but you don't get
Yeah.
to pass out on
I think that's
me.
perfectly okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was pretty rude.
Mine is everybody stay seated until it's your time to exit the plane. That's my biggest pet peeve. Is the landing when everybody goes, everybody stands
my
up. And
gosh.
that's my biggest pet peeve because you're not going anywhere.
You
I get
aren't.
needing to stretch, but it's the inching out into the aisle, trying, and it's like you're not going anywhere. What is that human nature?
I have been guilty of that, just where I stand up,
Yeah.
just because I've been sitting the whole time.
Sure.
But I get it. I think we're all in a rush, and that always seems like the longest part of the flight.
Yeah.
Waiting to get off the plane.
And then somebody who's legitimately going to miss their flight and they need to get through the aisle.
Yes.
This has happened before, and I've had to be her bodyguard where I'm like, she's gonna miss a flight. Get out of the way, people, sit down. So anyway, that's my biggest pet peeve.
Love it. Well, I just encourage everybody to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to be frustrated out there this weekend.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ursula. This was cathartic.
I didn't even know you
Safe
could chew.
travels.
I didn't even know you can't legally chew
I
on
don't
a plane,
know.
can you? Isn't
Well,
that a
apparently-
tobacco product?
Exactly, but apparently it happened, and she didn't know what to do. And in that case, I would have said, "Excuse me,
Yeah.
that's not
Any
okay."
good Copenhagen
thank you.
user would swallow it anyway. I
Ew,
mean, come on.
Sully, get to traffic. At the Beacon Plumbing Traffic.
This traffic report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Boy, I could tell you some stories.